Hello, I'd like to welcome you to the online open house and live question and answer session about the MT37 Bridge Preservation Project. My name is Brandon Coates. I am the Public Involvement Manager with RBCI. I am contracted with the Montana Department of Transportation to help provide project information and public involvement. And the Montana Department of Transportation is using these online meetings and presentations to engage with the public rather than the in-person meetings due to the community health and safety concerns during COVID-19. We do look forward to meeting in person again in the future as soon as possible. During today's online session, MDT and the project team members will provide an overview of the project, present some anticipated repairs, and talk about the next steps in the project. A live question and answer session will be held immediately following the presentation to answer your questions. To participate in that Q&A session, you can locate the Q&A button on the bottom of your screen. Once you click on that, it'll allow you to type in and submit questions at any time during the presentation. We will hold all the questions and answer them after the presentation, but you're welcome to fill that in at any point. The online sessions is being recorded, and a copy of the recording will be posted on the project website. Please invite your neighbors, coworkers, and friends that couldn't attend the session to view the presentation and participate in an online survey by visiting www.mdt.mt.gov/pubinvolve/MT37bridge, and that website address will be shown at the end of the presentation as well. The online survey will be available until November 1st. Now I'm going to turn over the microphone to the MDT pre-construction engineer from the Missoula District, Jacqueline Smith. Jacqueline?
Thank you, Brandon. My name, as Brandon said, is Jacqueline Smith, and I am the pre-construction engineer for the Missoula District. I'm still pretty new to this position and have a lot of learning to do, but very excited to be in this role and be part of this project. So I oversee the pre-construction program for the far western part of the state. With me today, we have several members of the project team, which consists of MDT, Forestry Associates, and RBCI. So I'd like to take this moment to let each person identify themselves and what their role is in the project. And then I will go into more information about the mission for MDT and why we have the team we do. So with that, I'm going to start with if the team members from MDT could identify themselves.
Sure, Jacqueline, this is Terry Voller. I work for MDT here in Helen, and I work for the Consultant Design Bureau. And my job is basically to be working with Forestry and RBCI as a liaison with our Bridge Bureau to make sure that the consultants are giving our Bridge Bureau the product that we're looking for.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andy Carlson. I also work for MDT. I am the Missoula District Bridge Area Engineer, and my job is to just help Terry and help Forest Green make sure that the plans and specifications are to standard with MDT standards. So thank you.
Thank you. And Forest Green Associates?
My name is Brent Schiller. I'm the project manager for Forest Green Associates team.
Hi, I'm Adam Bass with Forest Green Associates, and I was involved with the traffic control layouts for the bridges.
Hi, this is Patrick Wickman with Forest Green Associates. I'm an environmental scientist, and I was taking part of the environmental review for the process.
Thank you. And members with RBCI.
Hello again, this is Brandon Coates, and I am Public Involvement Manager, and our role in the project is to provide project information such as these online meetings, mailers, and that kind of information to the public, as well as gather your input and provide that back to the project team.
Good evening. My name's Kate Reed. I'm with RBCI and I'm going to be helping with the Q&A session tonight.
Thank you, everybody. MDT's mission is to serve the public by providing a transportation system and services that emphasize quality, safety, cost effectiveness, economic vitality, and sensitivity to the environment. MDT maintains a staff with the resources and technical expertise needed to perform the workload for the majority of the state's transportation projects. So with that, you're probably asking, if that's the case, why do you have these consulting firms on board as well? And the answer is because we consider consultants a part of MDT staff as well, an extension of MDT staff. They are very capable of providing the additional skills and experience, expertise, and quality we need to complete our projects. And we bring them on board in instances where we are short on staff or we need the additional technical expertise. With that, I'd like to move on to go into the project overview, and then I'll hand it off to Andy, who will break into more detail. Right now, we are in the early stages of evaluating 11 bridges on Montana 37 between Libby and Eureka. And when I say evaluating, we're looking at what the maintenance needs are for these bridges. They've been built ranging from 1959 to 1974. And so their needs are all different. And we need to look at each one and assess what is the most appropriate fix that's needed for them. I want to emphasize that these bridges are completely safe to drive on. And this work is more just for routine maintenance, just like you would do with your car. And you take it in for an oil change or tire rotation, and you've got your 5,000 mile check every so often, and then you've got your 100,000 mile check as well. So we're just doing our regular maintenance on them once we determine what is the most appropriate solution for them. We have these 11 bridges, and we've included this project with another project that is south of here. It's about 2 miles south of Knoxon on Highway 200. It's a separate project, and we are actually going to tie them in development and construction to see some benefits that we get when we combine projects. And that is we get reduced costs just because of the economy of scale, both with the design, development, and construction. This also allows us an opportunity to maintain consistency in construction and gives us a chance to complete construction in a quicker time frame. With that, I'm going to hand it off to Andy, and he will continue the discussion.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Hey, everybody. I'm going to quickly walk through the project's process and anticipated schedule. It was decided to organize the project schedule and process into a two-phase approach, an evaluation phase and a design phase. The evaluation stage started earlier this year and included office and field evaluations of each bridge. All of the information from the evaluations was carefully considered to develop repair and rehabilitation needs and was documented in a draft bridge report. The intent of this public meeting is to share the findings and recommendations in the draft report with the public and request public comments. The next step will be to finalize the bridge evaluation report. In the final report, there will be a section that documents the public comments from today and discusses any items that MDT should consider during the design process. The design phase is anticipated to start in the beginning of 2021 and is anticipated to be completed later that year. In the design phase, the construction plans will be developed. The design phase will also include an opportunity for the public to comment prior to final design. The current schedule suggests that the earliest construction could occur is in 2022. However, the funding for this project is not available in 2022, so construction will likely occur at some point beyond that. All right. While I still have the stage, I also wanted to touch briefly on MDT's Bridge Bureau organization and the services we provide. The MDT Bridge Bureau is tasked with keeping Montana's bridges safe, resilient, economical, and reliable. Similar to this project's two-phase development approach, the Bridge Bureau is organized into two sections, the Bridge Management section and the Bridge Design section. MDT's Bridge Management section provides condition inspection and load rating evaluation for the 5,000 plus public bridges in the state. The Bridge Management section also evaluates and analyzes overweight permit loads and performs bridge maintenance on state-owned structures. MDT's Bridge Design section provides design and engineering management on bridge replacement, rehabilitation, and preservation projects. The Bridge Design section also establishes and maintains design criteria and standards, participates in research projects, and promotes design initiatives to improve bridge performance and value. Thank you all for letting me speak a little here today. And with that, I'll hand things over to Brent Schiller.
Thanks, Andy. Hello, everyone again. My name is Brent Schiller, and as I said earlier, I'm Forestry Associates Project Manager. Our firm was tasked with performing field visits to each of the 11 bridges on Montana 37, reviewing that field data, and reviewing it along with other data provided by MDT, such as inspection reports, and then determining whether the bridges need a patch and overlay or a deck replacement type of repair. We are then tasked with preparing the plans package for the work to be done by a contractor. So as part of the field work, our team not only looked at the bridges, but at the needed traffic control to perform the repair work, the potential environmental impacts, and if guardrail at the bridge ends may need to be repaired or replaced. So I want to describe the work involved with the two main repair types I just mentioned, a patch and overlay or deck replacement. So as we go to the next slide, we'll talk about patch and overlay. Patch and overlay type of repair involves removing unsound concrete or concrete that is saturated with high levels of de-icing salt, which can eventually cause deterioration. We then patch needed areas and provide a concrete overlay on the entire deck area. We anticipate this work would be performed one half at a time. So work will occur in one half while traffic uses the other half, with traffic control in place to regulate vehicles across the bridge. And our traffic control engineer, Adam Bass, will go over that traffic control in a few moments. So at this point, we've performed the field visits and prepared a draft report that MDT is reviewing. Right now, we are anticipating 5 of the 11 bridges will be patch and overlay projects. So if you look at the map on the slide off to the right side, you can see the bridges in an orange color show that the ones that are going to be patch and overlay. So the bridge in Libby over the BNSF Railroad, the other bridge in Libby over the Kootenai River, the bridge over the Kootenai River near the Fisher River, the bridge over 5 Mile Creek, and the bridge over Sutton Creek. So as you can see in the photos in that same slide, the concrete deck shows signs of deterioration and some previous repairs. And our review of the field data and testing shows the decks have some high chloride content in the upper levels of the concrete deck, which is a good indication that further deterioration could occur if it's not removed, patched, and overlay. We also found the need for some bridge railings to be upgraded in some instances for safety purposes. So now we go to the next slide, talk about deck replacement. A deck replacement is just how it sounds, a complete removal of the bridge deck and then replacing it with a new reinforced concrete deck. We anticipate work for deck replacements will be performed one half at a time, just like the patch and overlay. So again, work will occur in one half while traffic uses the other half. And with that traffic control in place to regulate vehicles going across it. And again, Adam will talk about that in a few moments. So based on our current analysis, we are anticipating the other 6 of the 11 bridges are going to need that full deck replacement. And so if you look at that same map on the right side, you'll see the other bridge, these bridges colored in orange on this map. The bridge over Cripple Horse Creek, bridge over 10 Mile Creek, the bridge over Rock Gut, bridge over Cadet Creek, bridge over Pinkham Creek, and the bridge over Tobacco River. Now, as you can see in these example photos, the concrete decks here show much more severe deterioration and previous patching than the previous slide, which means these decks are in a more severe state of deterioration and need more extensive work. Our review of the field data and testing show that the decks have high chloride content deeper into the deck on these bridges, which makes a patch and overlay unrealistic or simply more expensive than just doing a full deck replacement. Since we'll be removing the entire deck on these bridges, the existing railing or existing bridge railing will be removed along with it. The new deck will have a bridge railing that's to current safety standards. And I guess I should just note, the bridges are safe to drive on. This is, again, like was mentioned earlier, that just that routine maintenance that's need to be done. And this is more the 100,000 mile maintenance. So with that, I'll turn this over to Adam Bass, and he's going to discuss the traffic control.
Thank you, Brent. I'm Adam Bass with Forestry Associates, here to talk about the temporary traffic control during the construction of the bridges. And the project team anticipates that traffic during construction of all the bridges along Montana 37 to be controlled using a two-way single lane traffic configuration. This will close one lane at a time and allow for movement of traffic in an alternating pattern. So to do this, we will have temporary traffic signals that will be placed a distance from the work zone to safely allow movement of vehicles through the construction zone during construction operations. And as you can see at the bottom of the screen here, there are some icons or symbols that represent where the temporary traffic signals will be located in relation to the work area. And so that is the application for all the bridges throughout Montana 37, but we want to address the specific bridges within Libby, since they're close together and they see a higher volume of traffic. And so the team anticipates working on the bridges in Libby at California Avenue. One goes over the BNSF rail line and the other over the Kootenai River at the same time to reduce impacts to traffic. Access to Riverfront Park and Thomas Street, located between the bridges, will be open throughout construction. Pedestrians will have all current access maintained with the use of a temporary crosswalk located on the north side of the Kootenai River, as indicated by the red dot there. And the temporary traffic signal set up for this location is going to have 4 signals, one at each end of the construction zone, and then one at each spur between the 2 bridges. And with that, that concludes the traffic control layout for the bridges. And I'd like to turn it over to Pat Wickman to discuss the environmental considerations for the bridges. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. My name is Pat Wickman. I work with Forestry Associates. I'm an environmental scientist, and I'll talk a little bit about the environmental portion of the project. So as part of all MDT construction projects, MDT is required to prepare an environmental study to document the effects of the action, or project in this case, on the social, economic, and natural environment. Guidance and rules for this come under the Montana Environmental Policy Act, called NEPA, and the National Environmental Policy Act, abbreviated as NEPA. NEPA is triggered when there are federal funds, which in this case may be from the Federal Highway Administration, to pay for the project. The size and scope of those effects, that is the significance of impact of the proposed action, that will dictate the type and magnitude of the environmental document that is prepared. So for these bridge projects, MDT has had Forestry conduct a site investigation of each of the bridges to look for potential environmental concerns and to document the environmental baseline at each site. So we went out, we looked at the nearby waters, wetlands, river users under the bridges, bird nests on the bridges, potential for environmental contamination, such as oil spills, and the ability for wildlife to cross under each bridge, as well as potential staging area locations. This information is summarized in the MDT draft bridge report. Our review showed that no bridge had concerns serious enough for us to not assume that the project could be reviewed and permitted with a environmental study known as a categorical exclusion. These CADXs have no significant impacts from the proposed project and do not require MDT to analyze alternatives to the proposed action. So future steps will be for MDT to prepare the categorical exclusion document, which will also include documentation of the public outreach steps that we're going through now. So with that, I conclude and turn over to Brandon to talk about the next steps of the project.
Thank you, Pat. I'd also like to remind everybody about the question and answer portion of the presentation. If you can find that Q&A button, you can click on it and you can ask your questions in there now. We'll be sure to have them ready to go to answer at the end of the presentation as well. So public input collected as part of this online meeting and through the online survey, as well as the continued environmental and design analysis that'll be performed, will be considered in the development of the project and the planning for construction. MDT plans to hold in-person public meetings if and when possible in the future to share any information about the project and to gather information that'll help in the development of the plans. The next public meeting is planned for 2021 to present the design plans to the public. We hope to be meeting in person. Construction, as Andy talked about earlier, could begin as early as 2022, but that is depending on funding availability. MDT is planning to use a variety of methods to communicate with the public throughout the design and into construction of the project. Some of those methods include online meetings like this one today, in-person meetings, direct mail, news media, social media, emails, and text messages, and then we will also keep the project website updated with information. As I mentioned earlier, there is an online survey posted to the project website, and that survey will allow us to gather more information both about the improvements, and we have some questions on there about best ways to communicate with you. If you have any friends or neighbors that were unable to participate in the online meeting, please direct them to the project website where they can view a recording of the presentation and take the online survey. Some of those questions on the survey include communication about design as well as how to communicate best with you during construction. So please submit your survey by November 1st. So I'd like to thank you for participating in the development of this project. Keeping the public informed throughout the project is a priority for MDT. If you have any comments or questions at any time, please feel free to contact me. Again, my name is Brandon Coates. I'm the Public Involvement Manager with RBCI. My email is brandon@rbci.net. And we will look forward to answering any questions we might receive today. And if you don't ask a question, but you have further questions, you can provide them through comments in the survey form, or you can get a hold of me directly and we will work to get those answered. So with that, we're going to conclude the presentation portion of the session and turn it over to the question and answers. Kate, do we have any questions that have come through?
Hey, Brandon, we do not have any questions yet. So we'll just wait here and see. Again, please feel free to add in the questions in the Q&A button and we will respond to them live.
Yeah, we'll give it a minute here to see if we have any questions come through. And like I said before, if you don't have your questions ready, but they come about later, please feel free to email me those questions or go to the project website and fill out the comment form or survey form there to get those questions to us. Okay, looks like we don't have any questions coming in. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude the presentation for today. I'd like again to thank you all for joining us, and feel free to get a hold of me. My my contact information will be on the screen there for a few more minutes. So thank you, everybody.